Have you ever felt like you understand things before they are even said? Like you can hear the silence behind someone's words. Like you notice what others miss. Most people listen to words, but INFJs listen to what is not being said. They read tone, energy, patterns, intent, and sometimes it feels like a quiet superpower. Other times, it feels overwhelming, because when you see too much, you cannot unsee it. In this video, we will explore the INFJ way of reading between the lines. 10 subtle ways INFJs understand people on a deeper level. If you are an INFJ, you will feel seen. If you are not, you will finally understand them. 1. INFJs read emotional undercurrents. INFJs do not just hear words. They feel them. They absorb them, almost like a quiet echo inside. When someone speaks, INFJs pick up on the emotional layer underneath. Not just the message, but the meaning behind it. A simple sentence like, "I'm fine," is never just, "I'm fine." It carries weight, tone, tension, sometimes even quiet pain. INFJs notice the small cracks, the slight pause before the words, the forced smile that does not reach the eyes, the tight voice that sounds controlled, but not relaxed. They notice when something feels off, even when everything sounds normal. This is where INFJ emotional intelligence becomes clear. They sense when emotions do not match the words. They feel the difference between truth and performance, between honesty and protection. Sometimes, people hide their feelings well, but not from an INFJ. Because INFJs are tuned into emotional frequency, not just language. This is why INFJs often know when someone is struggling, even when that person says nothing, even when that person insists they are okay. INFJs feel the quiet heaviness, the unspoken tension, the emotional weight behind the silence, and it stays with them. They think about it later. They replay the moment, trying to understand more deeply. This deep emotional awareness is part of INFJ empathy. It is natural. It is constant. It is always working in the background. INFJs do not turn it on. It is simply there. It is quiet, but powerful, and often accurate. Sometimes, this ability feels like a gift. Sometimes, it feels like a burden, because feeling so much can be overwhelming. But it also allows INFJs to connect in a way that few people can. They understand emotions before they are explained, and sometimes, before they are even understood by the person feeling them. 2. INFJs notice micro-expressions. INFJs are highly observant. In a calm and quiet way. They do not stare. They do not analyze loudly, but they see everything. They catch what most people miss. A quick eye movement. A flicker of discomfort. A subtle change in posture. A shift in breathing. These are called micro-expressions. They last only seconds. Sometimes less than a second. They appear and disappear. But INFJs register them instantly, almost without effort. It happens below the surface of awareness, but the impression stays. INFJs may not always explain how they know. They may struggle to put it into words, but they know. They feel the change. They sense the emotion behind it. This is a key part of INFJ personality traits. They are deeply tuned into human behavior, not in a clinical way, but in a human way. They observe naturally, without forcing it. This ability helps INFJs understand hidden emotions. Emotions people try to hide, or do not even realize they are showing. A slight tightening of the jaw, a quick look away, a brief moment of hesitation. These small signals tell a bigger story. INFJs read faces like stories, layer by layer, expression by expression. Each detail adds meaning. Each moment adds depth. This is why INFJs often understand people quickly, sometimes faster than others expect. It is not magic. It is attention. It is sensitivity. It is awareness. And over time, it becomes instinct. 3. INFJs hear what is not said. Silence speaks loudly to INFJs, sometimes louder than words. In conversations, INFJs notice gaps, the empty spaces between sentences, what people avoid, what they skip over, what they hesitate to say. These omissions are meaningful. They are not random. They are intentional. Even if the person does not realize it, INFJs pay attention to these moments. A pause that feels too long. A topic that is quickly changed. A question that is answered indirectly. These are signals. Quiet signals. But important ones. Sometimes, what is not said reveals more than what is said. INFJs understand this deeply. They listen beyond the surface. They listen for absence. They listen for silence. And silence often carries truth. INFJs ask quiet questions in their mind. Why did they pause there? Why did they change the subject? Why did their voice drop? Why did that feel uncomfortable? These questions do not demand answers. They simply guide awareness. This internal reflection allows INFJs to uncover deeper truths. Not immediately, but over time. INFJs think about conversations long after they end. They revisit moments. They reanalyze tone. They connect emotional dots. This is part of INFJ deep thinking. It is slow. It is reflective. It is layered. They are not just listeners. They are interpreters. They translate human behavior into meaning, into understanding, into insight. And often, they understand things that were never spoken out loud. 4. INFJs detect inconsistencies. INFJs are natural pattern seekers. They notice repetition. They remember details, even small ones. They connect dots over time, quietly, without trying. So when something does not match, they notice immediately. If someone says one thing today, and something different tomorrow, INFJs pick up on it, even if the difference is subtle, even if no one else sees it. If words do not align with behavior, INFJs feel it, not just see it. They sense the imbalance, the disconnect. This does not come from suspicion. INFJs are not looking for flaws. They are looking for truth. This awareness comes naturally. It is part of how INFJs process the world. They build internal patterns of people, how they speak, how they act, how they react. And when something breaks that pattern, it stands out, clearly, almost like noise in silence. INFJs are wired to seek consistency, to seek authenticity, to seek alignment between words and actions. When that alignment is missing, they feel uneasy, not judgmental, but aware. This is why INFJs often sense dishonesty early, before it becomes obvious, before it is confirmed. They feel the shift. They notice the change, not because they are searching for lies, but because something no longer fits. And when something does not fit, INFJs cannot ignore it. They sit with it. They observe it. They wait for clarity. And usually, clarity comes. 5. INFJs read energy, not just words. INFJs are deeply sensitive to energy. Not in a dramatic way. Not in a mystical way. But in a human way. They notice how people feel. Beyond what people say. They sense emotional presence. The atmosphere in a room. The tension between two people. The warmth in a genuine moment. They feel it all. Sometimes without trying. Sometimes without wanting to. If a room feels heavy, INFJs feel it immediately. If something feels tense, they notice it before anyone speaks. This is part of INFJ intuitive empathy. They are tuned into emotional environments, not just individuals. Sometimes, someone can say all the right things, perfect words, carefully chosen, but their energy feels off. Something does not match. Something feels distant, or forced. INFJs trust that feeling, even when they cannot explain it, even when there is no clear reason. Because over time, they learn that this feeling is often right. This is a core part of INFJ intuition. It is quiet, it is subtle, but it guides them. In conversations, in relationships, in decisions. INFJs often rely on this inner signal. It helps them navigate complex emotions. It helps them understand people more deeply. And sometimes, it helps them step back, to protect their peace, to protect their energy. Because reading energy is powerful, but it can also be overwhelming. Still, it remains one of the most defining INFJ traits. They do not just hear words. They feel the space around them. And in that space, they find truth. 6. INFJs understand hidden motives. INFJs often ask one silent question. Why? Why did this person say that? Why now? Why in that tone? They look beyond the surface. They explore intention. They sense when someone is seeking validation, or hiding insecurity, or trying to control a situation. This does not make INFJs judgmental. It makes them perceptive. They want to understand people deeply, not just react to them. This depth of analysis is a key INFJ personality trait. 7. INFJs connect past patterns. INFJs rarely see events in isolation. They connect everything. Past conversations, past behavior, past emotions. They build a mental map. So when something happens, they place it into that map. This helps them predict outcomes. It also helps them understand people over time. INFJs may say things like, "This feels familiar," or "I've seen this before," because they have. In patterns, in energy, in behavior. This makes INFJs excellent at reading between the lines over long periods. 8. INFJs feel the unspoken emotions of others. INFJs often absorb emotions, sometimes without realizing it. If someone is anxious, INFJs feel uneasy. If someone is sad, INFJs feel heavy, even when nothing is said. This emotional mirroring helps INFJs understand others deeply, but it can also be exhausting, because they carry what others hide. This is why INFJs need alone time, to reset, to separate their emotions from others. Still, this sensitivity is a gift. It allows INFJs to comfort people in ways few can. 9. INFJs analyze tone and language patterns. INFJs listen carefully, not just to what is said, but how it is said. Word choice matters. Tone matters. Pacing matters. Even repetition matters. If someone repeats a phrase, INFJs wonder why. If someone changes their tone mid-sentence, INFJs notice. Language reveals thought, and INFJs read that language deeply. This is part of INFJ deep thinking. They process conversations long after they end, finding meaning in every detail. 10. INFJs trust their inner knowing. At the core of everything, INFJs trust their intuition. They may not always have proof, but they have a feeling, a quiet certainty. It builds over time, from observation, from empathy, from pattern recognition. INFJs learn to trust this inner voice, even when others do not understand it. This is the essence of INFJ insight. It is calm, it is subtle, but it is rarely wrong. Being an INFJ is not always easy. Seeing beneath the surface can feel heavy. Understanding hidden emotions can feel overwhelming. But it is also beautiful, because INFJs bring depth to a shallow world. They listen when others speak over. They notice when others ignore. They care when others walk away. If you are an INFJ, your ability to read between the lines is not a flaw. It is your strength. Protect it, refine it, trust it, and use it wisely. Because in a world full of noise, you understand the silence. If this resonated with you, you are not alone. There are others who see the world the same way. Quietly, deeply. If you want more videos on INFJ personality, empathy, and intuitive thinking, stay here and keep exploring, because understanding yourself is the beginning of everything.